When you're in your home page and you want to create a new site, so if you had just registered for an account and you want to create a new site, you just click this plus button and you can create a new site. And so let's go ahead and do that. So let's call this a live webinar demo. Sweet. And let's pick an address. So I've got an address here in Arizona that we're going to choose. All right, 7524 South 13th Place. And as you can see, when I was typing in that address, Google was making recommendations based on my location. So it's funny, 7524 South 13th Place is in Phoenix. Great. So I live and work in Roseville, California. So it was recommending places in California that were much closer to my location. Okay, so I selected this address. As I scroll down, I can change the weather station. Maybe, this is in Phoenix, Arizona. Maybe the Tempe weather station is a little more like the weather, but the tool is going to default to the closest weather station. If your weather station's outside of, 500 miles and you want to upload your own weather data, you can totally do that. You just upload hourly data and it's just an Excel file that we're looking for, Excel CSV file. So you can upload your own weather data. If you have a commercial site, most common feedback I get for commercial sites is, oh, the building extends outside of this blue square. So just zoom out a little bit and you can make the blue square bigger, right? If the pin doesn't fall exactly on the location you wanted it to, maybe the house was down here or something, you can just move that pin around and get the blue square to center on the pin. But this is the house we're going to design. It's a lovely, A-frame, almost looks like an A-frame house. We're going to put my name in here for the customer. All right. And then as we scroll down, we can see the profile. So this is a residential house. So we're going to do a residential design. If I picked commercial, it's going to change my defaults for my module mounting from pitch to flat because most commercial roofs are flat. But I'm going to go residential. Annual consumption, this just tells me this is how we're basing our calculation for self-consumption. So you can put in your customer's annual consumption here. So if your customer uses, 1,000 kilowatt hours a month, then their annual consumption will be 12,000 kilowatt hours a year. Their consumption profile. So this is, again, going to help our self-consumption calculation when the homeowners are home and using more energy. So retirees working from home, they use a lot lower energy at night, but they're home all day, so they use more energy throughout the day. Versus a single or two-person household, they use a little bit of energy before they go to work in the morning, then they're at work all day, and then they come home and then use a bunch of energy at night. Nighttime focus consumption, maybe I plug my car in at night or whatever, and I'm charging at night. So you can see just how people use their electricity energy. Most people are like, family with school-age children. So that's the one I'm going to pick because that's the one I am. I'm going to look at my grid parameters. The grid parameters basically says which inverters we're going to recommend. So if I pick a 240 volt split phase, it's going to recommend a 240 volt inverter. If I pick a 208 or 480, it's going to recommend a 208 inverter. The export limit, so that just means how much energy can I export to the grid. Like if we're in Hawaii, it's a net zero export port, I can put zero export. And then I can add any nets. So once I'm done with all my product information, I'm going to click Create.
For additional information and access to more in-depth tutorials, go to SolarEdge.com, select Login and e-learning to get access to the library of SolarEdge learning materials.